I don't know if I'm going to post this, but I'm just going to go off for a few minutes and see how I feel about it after. A lot of people ask, because they don't know, and why would they? Why? What's the problem? Why are so many of these guys, taking their own lives? And there's a lot of reasons. There's a compendium of reasons. There's a variety of factors, some bigger than others, some smaller than others, depends on the person, depends on the situation. But one of them that no one's talking about is nobody cares. Canadians especially do not care about their military. They don't care about their veterans, and they don't understand what goes on in these lifestyles and the cost that it takes, the toll that it takes on these people, and they don't care to find out. They're not interested. They're interested in fake outrage, in fake science, in clickbait articles. They're interested in themselves. This is the age of narcissism. And the really real insulting part is when it comes around to Remembrance Day and so on, is when all these fake people with their fake feelings come out to have, fake fake support. Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, and all this kind of stuff. What do they? Oh, did you change a Facebook filter? Cool, good for you. You pat yourself on the back. You say you share some quote from somewhere. What, did you watch a war movie today? Nice. And then you go back to their lives like nothing happened. In reality, these guys deal with constant disrespect. It very much does feel like being like a used up, thrown away, toy nobody wants anymore. The island of misfit toys is where we live. Especially if you're no longer of any use to the federal government, or if you oppose the federal government, if you think anything's wrong with anything that's going on. See, that's when the public, the only time the public cares or likes or appreciates anything you do, again, like I said, is when it's fake. When you sit there and shut up and do as you're supposed to do and act as you're supposed to, how they envision how you're supposed to be, how they've, grown and been accustomed and acclimatized to the vision, the idea of what a veteran and a soldier is supposed to be. They give absolutely zero shits about finding out what it takes, what it's about, what happens the day to day, what goes on, but most importantly, what we believe in, what we care about, and where does a soldier come from? Why does he do it in the first place? Because to put yourself in a career, in a lifestyle that is going to take a piece of you away, either a little or a lot or everything, depending upon your career path and situation, that requires something, because we don't get paid a lot. What's an infantry corporal making these days? $75,000? Is that even enough to pay for one person's? You can't even support a family on that anymore. Thanks, government. Inflation looking good. So it's not money. It's because they believe in something. They believe in doing something. Warriors come from a place just like a leopard can't change its spots, and a leopard tank cannot be an aircraft carrier. It is what it is, and these people are who they are. They believe in certain things. They believe in doing the right thing, and they believe in accountability, responsibility, truth, honor, and justice, and this kind of stuff. And we live in a society where all of those things are no longer valued. Who cares what the truth is? There's no honor in anything, especially the leadership and government at all levels. And there's no respect or dignity anywhere. Look how they treat the, Veterans for Freedom and anybody. Oh, you're not a real veteran. You must be a stolen valor. You must be this and that. Do you have any idea how deeply insulting that is? And you want to sit here and go on and on about offensive words and mean tweets. I was misgendered. It's so, woe is me. Someone won't recognize my costume that I'd like to wear. That's nice. How about you give your life an existence and where you just consistently bury friends, family, brothers, sisters all the time for an ideal, for a notion of a country that no longer exists. And when then you go back out into the country, that world that you thought you were fighting to protect, it doesn't give a shit on you. In fact, it spits on you. Treats you like garbage. And you can have a guy, take his own life. And you know what? Well, we can't really deal with it today because it's the weekend. Nobody's working. It's a long week. I mean, we've got to go to the cottage. It's summertime. We'll get back to you Monday, Tuesday, whenever we have time, whenever we feel like it. Thanks for going the extra mile for veterans and their families. Yet again, Canada. This is just one example. Veterans Affairs. Hey, I need help. Have you considered killing yourself? This is an across-the-board attitude, and it permeates from the leadership down. Leadership is important. Leadership is one of the most important things in any kind of organized structure of human activity. If the person at the top, who is supposed to be the heart and soul of the rest of them, is telling people that we just don't have time for you. You're asking for more than we're willing to give right now. How long should we tolerate these people? Well, one of the people that the Prime Minister said we shouldn't be tolerating was a friend of mine who just took his own life. Do you think that doesn't have an impact when you fight for a country and give all that you have, and then the people that are supposedly running and represent the population look you in the eye through their television Zoom call sets from wherever it is they think they're running the goddamn place and tell you that you're not worth anything anymore. And in fact, you should just go away. You're no longer needed. It doesn't have any impact. You want to talk about offensive? We're very offended. So maybe, just throwing it out there, if you're curious, is it a drug they took? Did somebody say something? Is it perhaps, just maybe, it's worth considering, asking about, studying, talking about at the very least, that maybe the society in which these men and women laced up their boots to sweat, bleed, kill, and die for has turned its back on them, and everywhere they go for years and months and it's like they never even existed at all, and what was the point of it all, and who really cares? But then again, I guess, in the age of narcissism, in the age of me, Canada, that would require some people that actually care about something and give themselves to a higher purpose to appreciate what that's like. And the more and more every day that I live, and every day, everywhere I travel, and everywhere I go in this country, everywhere I look, I see less and less of that. I see people on their smartphones taking selfies. Everybody's self-interested with themselves. And it's just decay and degradation, lower standards, just go ahead and lower your expectations to the bottom of the floor. And I'm telling you right now, I guarantee you, every time, so what? It's just, this interaction or that. No, it's not. It's another symptom. It's another sign of a dying, something we loved that is dying, that, we gave ourselves to support and prop up and keep going. And it's dying and nobody cares. And some of the only people trying to do anything about it and raise any kind of awareness and they just get stepped on, spit on, thrown away. And you know what? It doesn't even make the news anymore. Do you think anybody cares? We know what the statistics are. How many people deployed to Afghanistan? Let's break that down to how many people were actually involved in combat in Afghanistan. That is a fraction of the number. And how many of those people have killed themselves or attempted to take their own lives? It is a frightening, terrifyingly high number, an unacceptable number. No one knows. The government knows, but they're not telling anybody what it is. They did the investigations. We know all about it, but they're just going to keep a lid on that. What is it, 30%? Do you have a 35% chance, 40%? You got young kids, you thinking about sending them into the military? How's that for a recruiting brochure? Oh, and by the way, it's the woke military now. Everybody uses pronouns. Cut your hair, don't cut your hair. Have a goatee if it matters. Put on makeup. It doesn't matter. Do whatever the hell you want. Oh, and by the way, we're going to send you into war zones we have no business being in. We're never going to take responsibility for the mistakes that we make. And then when you're near suffering, nobody's really going to worry about that either. And you probably have a 30, maybe higher percent, 35%, we don't know, that your son or daughter will try or succeed in taking their own life within so many years of serving this country. But hey, that's not a story that anybody really cares about, is it, Canada? I want to hear about Sprite versus Fanta. I want to hear about how Pierre shook hands with a guy. I want to hear about Orange Man bad and misgendering and the sports ball game and which celebrity said a mean thing to another fucking celebrity. It remains a mystery as to why the veteran community is doing so poorly.